Okay, welcome to Rick's Life as I See It. Hang on a minute, hang on. Hey, Rob, I just gone live. I,
All
I thought
right.
I thought you were going to be late tonight, so I went ahead and started.
No
So
problem. Sorry
that's
about
all right.
that. I had to restart my phone and then repair my earbuds, and it just, I don't know what the hell's been going on, but it was
Not
a
a problem.
disaster here.
Not a problem. I was just introducing, Rick's Life as I See It. You know, here on Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, the only time zone that matters. Uh, what you call it? Just waiting for a few people to show up in the chat. I just wanted to know. I said that I had. I'm trying to remember how I worded it last week. Was hang on, where is it? Uh, no, that wasn't the one. Go back. Must have been the one before that. Is it this one? Oh yeah, no show. Minor emergency vehicle issues. Not mine. That was what I sent last week, and I do apologize. The my friend's vehicle wasn't doing its thing. I had to go get her, bring her home, get her changed, take her back to work, and it threw me all out last week. So I said I do apologize for that. So that's what was happening. My car is running great. You know, I still got to. I mean, I still ain't got. I got the front bearings, front real wheel bearings, a set of them for each side. I got them ordered, so we'll see where it goes after that. So anyway, so that's where we're at. Anyway, let's just wait for a few more people to show up. So I'm glad you're with us, New York Outcast. Um, I'll go ahead and introduce you. If anybody, there must be some lurkers around, I'm surely. So my my panelist at the moment is the one and only New York Outcast. How you doing?
Doing all right. Yeah, sorry to hear about you guys' problems there last week. So, uh, glad everything's back to normal or whatever if you're doing your show this week. So,
Back to normal as good, best as can be, So, mind you,
that's
it's up been
cool.
up in the 70s and sunny today. It's been quite nice. We've had a couple of cold days, but now it's going to get even more. The forecast is up in the 80s for the rest of the week. So,
Nice.
hell
Nice.
yes.
We
Yeah.
might get an 80s day according to the news, but that's not for, I don't know, days towards the end of the 5 day. So
Yeah. Yeah.
maybe we'll get something decent. So we were pushing 50 today, 52 maybe. So of
No, we
course
got
it
up to,
seems
I
cooler
said,
to me, but
yeah, we got up in the low 70s today. Yeah, low
nice.
70s today. Tomorrow is meant to be up in the 80s, then from 80s for the rest of the week. So
N-
it'd be nice. But
Yeah, yeah, that'll be, I'm looking forward to that kind of weather where I can just throw a t-shirt on and be comfortable throughout my day. So
yeah, yeah. All right. While we're waiting for people, hey, Patriot in the dark, good to see you. Uh, while we're waiting for more people to join us, I got a topic I want to bring up before I forget about it. Right? Why, after all these years, do we have to send a rocket up to fly around the moon, which we've already done? What are we proving? What I don't understand. You know, we've already been to the moon. You're flying, so you're going up, flying to the moon, circling the moon, flying back. We done that back in the Apollo days, or even before. Jesus Christ. What a waste of billions of dollars. I mean, you could have landed on the moon or taken pictures and say, oh, look, the flag's still there for you non believers or something. You know what I'm saying? What was it? Was it all political to distract us from what's going on around the world? I don't know. I just find it strange that we're, that we just flew around the moon. I mean, it's old hat. We've done it. It's nothing exciting. Or am I missing something here, Rob?
Well, I think if people aren't paying attention to things, they'd probably feel exactly how you feel. So part of me feels that way, but I believe NASA's come out with a I don't know mission statement type thing or whatnot, a goal to where they're talking about having a base on the moon. So from my understanding, this is we're flying around and check it out, doing tests, and then this is like one stage of the program. So next stage will I don't know if we're actually going to put somebody down again or what, but they're trying to get to the moon. Now I believe my own theory of why we're doing that right now, why we just sent somebody up right now, which in my opinion is in a hurry because there's been some issues, but that's a whole long story. But it seems like they kind of rushed this. It'll be interesting to see what happens during reentry. But anyway, so I think they did it right now because they're probably trying to get up there as soon as possible because the Chinese have been up there with like rovers and throwing satellites around the back. Basically, we're not sure exactly what they're doing. We think we know, but we're not 100%, and they're worried about them, you know, mining stuff, potentially getting a head start in areas on us. That's what I think's going on. So I think it's just a spy mission is what's going on. But yeah, they can call it two things. It's that and it's a step in moving forward to having a sustainable base or something on Mars by I don't know. Who knows when? I don't know the whole plan, but that's what I've been told. So yeah, that's what I think it is. Because like you said, we've already kind of done this, supposedly. I still have some doubts on some things, but you know, if we're going by official stories, it's already been done. So yeah, we'll see how it turns out. But that's what I think it is. I think they got a public statement thing out where we plan to be trying to get a base on the moon at some point, I believe.
Yeah. Well, Patriot says Rob's buddy Biden actually set the schedule for this. So, you know, and Patriot also says, I'm sure the real reason is to make sure those moon spiders are all gone. Didn't you watch Apollo 18, the one they said that never sent? Yeah. So that's what. See, see. Maybe that's what it is because it never actually went. So they just wanted to double check to make sure it can be done. Because they got
Maybe,
more
yeah.
advancement now.
I mean, if we want to get real crazy, you could say, somebody didn't pay their taxes up there. So who
Yeah,
knows?
yeah,
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past the IRS to back a mission and go up there to pass a bill along.
yeah. But I mean, if you're going to build a station up on the moon or something like that, or out in outer space, pick a planet that we can breathe on. For fuck's sake, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. I don't remember the name of it, or it's actually a number and a couple letters, but there's a planet out there that they found that supposedly is compatible near Earth.
Yeah,
So we'd be able to live on it, in theory, all this type of stuff. But it's so far away we don't have the technology to get there yet, basically, in a lifetime. So I guess it would take several lifetimes unless we had, warp drive or whatever. So I don't know, but I mean, it makes sense because it's close and it's packed full of stuff that we could use apparently. So
Okay, but I just find it strange that this is all going on. It but it's weird timing. That's all. You know.
yeah, yeah.
Now,
Well, I
from
would
all
like
those
to
people,
think it's rushed
yeah,
just because we're being want to know what's going on. I think, but that's
yeah.
I have no proof of that, but that's what I would assume that we don't want to guess at what others are doing.
Now, I know I try to stay away from politics as much as I can, but you know, you gotta laugh. They're all freaking out. Was it yesterday or the day before when our president said that he's going to annihilate Iran if they don't do the ceasefire by 8 p.m. Right? It's amazing how they all of a sudden, an hour before deadline, they want a ceasefire. And now everybody's now all the and plus all the people in NATO, you know, are all Trump's an ass, doing what he's doing and not asking us. All of a sudden, he's the greatest guy again. I thought a bunch of two-faced motherfuckers. We ought to just pull out of NATO and let them go on. Take care of your own problems. Don't call us. We'll call you. You know. But I don't know. As I said, I try to
Yeah.
stay away from the news nowadays.
Yeah. Well, considering we're like the biggest member, from my understanding, in NATO, and we put in most of the legwork and the money, I would just, say, the hell with NATO, and we'll start USAO or something. You know what I mean? Well, that there's
Yeah.
already a, but you know what I mean? We'll start our own
Oh yeah.
damn thing because we're do all the work any damn way. So why should we have to, like when we were, he was trying to use some of the bases over there and NATO refused because, they're not thrilled with us dealing with Iran. So,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
uh,
Because they're
things
all
like
see
that.
they're
Like
worried.
whether you like it or not, we're supposed to be on the same team.
Yeah.
We supply you all types of shit, give you all types of money and arms, like, and you're gonna tell us no? Like, okay, then
Yeah.
pay for your own shit. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'd at least be
Oh, I
Xing people
agree.
off or making some stipulations, and if they don't want to do nothing, then screw it. We'll just start our own shit because it's majority our money and effort any goddamn way.
Yeah. Oh, well, I agree with you. I mean, also, come on, let's be honest. The Euro, especially the European people, right, in NATO, what they were panicking over has got nothing to do with us killing Iranians and all that shit. It's all got to do with the oil, because 80% of the oil and gas and everything that goes into Europe comes from Russia and Iran. You know, and that's all they were worried about is our oil supply. But as Trump said, get rid of them, buy it off us, we'll sell it to you. You know, but now they got to keep getting it with the Iranians. Well, United Kingdom does because that is actually going to be annexed by the Middle East, the Muslim community anyway, because that's
Is it
basically,
cheaper buying it from them than from us?
I guess so. I don't know. I
Because
thought the
if it was
price of oil
cheaper, I
was the
mean,
same. I thought the price of oil was the same per barrel, no matter where you got it from. But it's got to be cheaper to get it from us, if not for the price of the oil for transportation. You've only got to take it, from the East Coast to England, right? And instead of going all around through the Straits of whatever call it, across the Mediterranean, then up. It miles wise, it's further to go come from there than it is to come from here. That's the only thing I can think of. You know, because I mean, if you're paying $100 a barrel, it don't matter where you get it from. It's $100. You know what I'm saying? Far as I understand, you know,
Well, I don't know, and I would state it. I mean, is that the price of crude oil or is that refined? You
that's
know,
crude
because
oil, I think, by the barrel.
okay, well, yeah,
Yeah,
because then obviously there's costs on top of that to actually refine it down. So
and
I don't know. You know, either way, I think it's too damn much, whatever the case is. But yeah, I
oh,
went to the gas station today and was like, holy shit! Like it's been $3.99, and that seems high, but as soon as you cross $4, like I damn near had a stroke out there. I was like, what the hell? What is going on? It's been 2 days. What's happened? Like,
it's three
like,
ninety nine here, but
man, it's 419 here. I was
yeah,
like,
but
holy
yes,
shit. Like,
that is upsetting. But I paid more than that when Biden was in the White House.
yeah, I was trying to remember if I ever seen it higher, and I'm thinking, I know there was a big spike like 20 years ago where it
There,
was up there, but
it was
I
over.
don't
I
know.
think it was. I think the highest it got around here was 480, 485 during Biden's time. You know, we haven't reached what the price of gas was when Biden was in charge, but they all seem to forget that. But see, the Democrats are pounding on this because if they say it enough times, it becomes the truth. You know, gas has
Yeah.
never been this high.
I
You
don't
know,
know if it ever got how high it got up there. I remember what you're talking about, and then he released like our strategic reserve, and which yeah, I'm not thrilled about because I understand like that could be considered what it's for, but I don't know the numbers, but we should never run ourselves dry in case we had any major problems. You know what I mean?
oh yeah,
So
yeah,
hopefully Trump's got that refilled or
yeah,
been doing something with that because
yeah,
that's no good.
yeah. I tell you, are you reading the chat here by any chance or not?
No, no,
I tell
I
you,
can't see it.
you've got a reputation as a tight ass, haven't you?
Yes,
You
I
know,
do.
because
Why?
Gizzard Gary goes, shit, Rob would have to take some of the stuffing out of his mattress to pay for the gas.
Yeah, yeah. Jeez, like I said, 3.99. I'm like, it's whatever. For something, I'm about ready to have a heart attack out
Yeah, I
there. Like,
know.
what the hell's going on? Like, hold on.
Yeah, I mean, even at $3.99, it makes you swallow when you pull up the gas pump. You know, it really
But
does. But
I'm doing the math, like how many dollars is it gonna take to do my yard, like my neighbor's yard and stuff. I'm like, Jesus, now it's just like, changes everything. But
Tony said, I put $80 in my truck for the first time ever this week, and I bet did it fill it up? You know, because I
uh,
before my truck got totaled, you know, my that was a 30-gallon tank, and $80 wouldn't fill it up. So luckily my Blazer here only has an 18-gallon tank. So there you go. I
I
didn't fill it.
heard,
Yeah.
I heard they're gonna put something in the gas starting the beginning of next month or something to help it go further. Like people are saying they're gonna water down the gas. There's
Well, they're already
some
putting
video.
corn in it. What more else can they stick in it?
Yeah, well, that's basically what it is. They're trying to get a waiver or something for, you know how they got the ethanol gas that you shouldn't use in your small engines, mowers, all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that's 10%. They're trying to get a waiver passed for 15%. So I'd keep an eye out if you're, when you're getting gas, you know what I mean? So just to be, so you know what you're getting. So supposedly that's supposed to start next month.
Oh
So
yeah, Tony's just said it's going to 15%. Yeah,
yeah,
that's the
so
ethanol or whatever they put in out of the
yeah,
corn. Yeah,
which could with a new car, it shouldn't affect it too much. But if you have a older vehicle, it might be more of a problem for your vehicle. Um,
yeah, it
so
possibly could
just
be.
not necessarily good for it. So there's videos out there on it and reasons
Yeah,
why and blah blah blah. But just something to keep in mind because the
they
way
should
I
just
see it,
go
it's
back
just
to regular leaded and be done with
yeah.
it.
Well, I don't know
You know.
about that, but might just be another way they're nonchalantly trying to kill old vehicles out on the roads.
Well,
So
it could be to get you, part of. I mean, because there's Stu Biden's people, you know, it, bureaucrats who do most of the work for the government. They want everybody to have an electric car. It's all still part of the big deal, the big picture. So, hey, Buck, how's it going?
yeah, and I think they're coming after the holdouts too. Like that's what I think the cash for clunkers was kind of try to get
Yeah,
rid of the vehicles that would actually run a few 100,000 miles. Were worth rebuilding for
yeah,
throwaway cars that are supposed to be garbage in 5 years now. So
yeah. Oh, as Tony York says, so as far as he knows, anything after 1996 should function on the 15% okay. You know,
okay,
so you know
okay.
we have to.
Yeah, and this is the Tony I think it is because I can't see it in the chat. Then
Tony from
I would say
yeah, go on.
I was just gonna state that I would probably take his word for it. So
Yeah, yeah, that's Tony York from
okay, yeah,
lives
yeah,
up there in Illinois, but moving to Missouri.
yeah,
You know,
okay, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. See, I don't know all the details. I just knew that it may not be good. So, and I
yeah.
didn't know the
Wow.
years exactly, but
Yeah,
yeah. Something
it's
to consider when you're at the pump. If it looks real cheap, you might want to check it and consider the year of your car or what you're using it for. So,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Really, the only people that benefit from this is the farmer who grows corn.
maybe. I don't know because even that, I don't know how the numbers work out on that. I know a lot of them are subsidized and whatnot, but uh, you know how it breaks out in the end, I really don't know. And most of those are the huge. The average farmer is almost gone. It's all the big companies now. So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know. I guess there's still some. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah. I said most of Indiana is corn nowadays, corn and soybean, and most corn here in this state goes to. Believe it or not, the majority of it goes to what you call it, because Indiana, I believe, if I remember correctly,
ethanol.
unless it's changed, is the biggest popcorn producer. The corn for popcorn,
Ah,
and that's where
okay.
most of ours go. Then the rest, then what's left over, I believe, goes to the ethanol plants. You know,
Well, I
you know.
believe the ethanol stuff because we've got it over here. Like all the fields are marked with specific tags and stuff, so you can go down the road and see the numbers of each crop and whatnot. So I don't know if they could use regular corn because it's all that GMO seed shit too. So,
Yeah,
trying to see where my popcorn came from.
yeah. I mean, I know the corn from Indiana goes because I believe Indiana is the biggest popcorn producer in corn. Last I knew. Last time I looked at it was a couple of years ago. You know.
Chicago, Illinois.
What?
Where
Where
my
they say that?
I guess where
Oh,
my
they.
Orville Redenbacher
Yeah, yeah, but
says
I'm telling you,
non-GMO project verified, but
but I'm just saying there. I mean, we got so much corn. I mean, what because the farmers are starting to get ready to do their fields and shit. You know, and I'm gonna be surrounded by cornfields again. Cornfields and cows. That's what we have here. So
yeah, bunch of little weird kids running around in the corn stalks at night.
yeah, yeah. Oh, what in the hell was the name of that movie?
Children of
Something.
the Corn.
Yes, that was a weird movie. You
Yeah,
know.
I seen the two or something. They did a second one, I believe. I think that one was kind of dumb. Like it didn't follow the first one really at all. Like
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
It was weird.
The first one was spooky's the wrong word, but didn't they? That one guy they blinded him and cut his tongue out. We couldn't tell him what was going on.
I
If I
don't
remember
a
correctly.
hundred percent remember, but I know it was yeah, it was more like possession or something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah. This
yeah,
the other one was more I don't know, like a cult or something weird. So more PG too. Wasn't as extreme as the first one. So
yeah,
all I know is if you see weird kids coming out of the corn, it's probably time to go. But you see regular kids, they're probably just playing manhunt or something. So
yeah. Well,
that was fun.
the
Corn.
only thing we see coming out of the corn is Bigfoot
Mm,
crossing the cornfield. From
okay.
I mean the corn here it gets quite tall. You know, you can
Oh
get
yeah,
lost
same
in it.
here. Taller than you, or taller than me. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean it gets you can get lost in there if you don't know where you're going.
yeah.
Mind you, what you call it? When my friend takes her dog across the street to the park and play, the farmer grows corn in the field next to it. The dog goes in there and everything else, right? And sure, go in there. I said, you need to be careful going in there. Why? I said, because of snakes. you know, I said, I said, I ain't that stupid. I ain't going in a cornfield.
You never played in a cornfield as a
Oh
kid or
yeah,
anything?
yeah. I didn't worry about it when I was a kid, you know. But
Uh,
the older I get, the more I worry about it. I hate snakes, as you already know. You know, detest them with a passion. All snakes should be all the only, as they used to say about the back in the day, the only good snake is a dead snake, as far as I'm concerned. You know, since I
uh,
can't, since I don't know my snakes, I can't look at one and say it's poisonous or it's not poisonous, and I ain't taking the chance. So that's all I'm saying. You know? So, the only snakes there's only two snakes that I recognize, and that's one is the rattlesnake because it 90% of the time you can hear it because it start rattling if you get too close to it, right? The other snake, the only reason I remember it is because as a kid, you say playing in cornfields. When I was a kid living in the Philippine Islands on Clark Air Base, we were told, don't go into the jungle. That's around, that was around the base. But we're kids, so we used to go into the jungle. I actually came I say face to face. We're walking down a path and a cobra raised up in front of us in the path. We backed up real quick and got out of there. So I know what they look like.
that's
So
funny. Yeah, you don't even forget that one.
no, Uh,
Yeah, I've been swimming in water and attacked by them by water snakes. Uh, Actually, I've been uh, they've come at me a few times in water. I've had to deal
oh,
with
I've
snakes.
had old water moccasin chase my boat when I was out there fishing.
Yeah,
You know, so
yeah.
yeah.
No, these are coming up striking like a few of them. So that kind of sucked. But yeah, I've had a few situations where I've had to deal with some wildlife that is pretty
Yeah.
funky,
Well, here you
but
go.
there's nothing you can do. It's not like you like it, but you just, what are you gonna do? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You gotta deal with it.
yeah. Well, as Tony says, with the exception of the coral snake, right? Venomous snakes have a triangular head and cat eyes. Well, put it this way, I don't want to get that close to be able to distinguish. You know, I don't have a problem pulling out my 380 and shooting it, whether it has a triangle head or not. I'm sorry, it's just the way I am. So as Tony said, yeah, cottonmouths, the water moccasin are aggressive as hell. As I said, they've always. I said the few times I've run across them, like in a fishing boat and shit, they've chased us. They've chased the boat type thing, you know. And if I go
Yep.
fishing, around water, I'm always looking out for them. You know, I said, like talking about my friend and her dog. Sure, they go down to Mitchell Creek. It's out in the middle of the woods, right? Mitchell Creek is actually in part of the Indiana Hoosier National Forest, right? And I tell her, and she'll go in the water. She doesn't have a problem. She'll walk in the water with the dog and stuff. I said, do you look out to see if there's any snakes in there before you go plunging in? You know? She goes, no. I said, I would if I was you. I said, especially if it's a water moccasin, you know? But I said, I said, the, I said, you can I don't, I'm not saying snakes can't kill dogs, they can. But most dogs, if they get by a snake, wherever they get bit normally swells up. Then after 2 or 3 days, it starts going down. They don't get sick like we do or die. I mean, I could be wrong. Every dog I've ever seen with a snake bite has survived. So there we go.
Yeah, I think it depends on the size. There's a bit to it.
Yeah,
So it's like
copperheads. Now that is the most common snake around here. Is copperheads. You know. So yeah, I mean, as Tony says, rattlers and copperheads will try and avoid people. Yeah, they will. But, I still don't want to be bitten by one. So, but there you go. How did we get on the snakes? Anyway, we were talking about the spaceship and the moon, and we got on the snakes.
yeah. Well, you
How the
bring
hell
up
that happened, I
politics,
don't
and
know.
it led right from politics to snakes, I believe. So
Yeah. Well, I think that there's a coalition or correlation between snakes and politicians because most politicians are
yeah,
like
I'd say so. Yeah.
you know the lizard people, all same sort of category. You know,
Yeah.
you know. So I don't know. It's straight. Anyway, let's get we'll move on. So yeah, Tony says that sounds like a natural progression. Yeah, I guess it is. Yeah. Anyway, my little section on shooting with disabilities. Right. I was looking and I come across some uh, forum that somebody said that she put it out there. Uh, the, the 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 headline is "Disabled Woman is Shooting Possible for Me." You know, and she goes, "I got the disability, sort of like a muscular this I can't even how to pronounce it, where she can only lift. I mean, sort of mine's arthritis, but I can't lift my shoulder this, high. That's all she can do too, but she doesn't have a lot of strength in hers. And she was asking about shooting and stuff. And where I'm going on this, there was a lot of people who responded to her saying, "Yeah, no problem. There's all kinds of things you can do, from using tripods to using the tables and all this kind of stuff." What I'm saying is, there's a lot of people. What I've been saying for the last few weeks. A lot of ranges accommodate people with disabilities nowadays. You know, but but where I was they where was I looking at? Uh, they were recommending sort of like long range shooting for and stuff and stuff like that. It's amazing what there so many people are don't. Yeah, it's where I was going is if you have an issue. Well, I mean, everybody here I'm speaking to the choir anyway, because most of us are gun nuts here anyway. So, but I was just fascinated at even people on it, and I don't think this wasn't a gun forum, from what I can figure out. It's just it's more like no, what's that big chat thing, Reddit or something like that? It's something like that kind of chat thing. And I'm quite surprised so many people come to her and said, "Yeah, not a problem." Because if it was Reddit, they're goddamn so liberal there. I'm quite surprised they even didn't delete her question. uh, so, what there was a section in here. Where was it? If I can find it, you know. Uh, okay, yeah. If you want to shoot as a hobby/sport, you're in luck. Shooting is one of the most accessible sports there is, and basically any disability can be canceled out with specialist equipment. See, that's what I've been saying.
I call bullshit.
Do you? Why?
Yep. What if you got no legs, no arms, and you can't blow in a straw? Then what?
I don't know if they can. No, hang on. I saw somebody not with a firearm, but like with a computer, could do it with the sort of muscle in their eyelid. They could blink and they could type by blinking.
Yeah, I forgot the eyelid twitch.
You know?
Okay. All right, yeah.
So they might be able to
maybe there's a way. Maybe there's a way.
I'm not saying it would be easy. I'd imagine it would be a financial situation. I bet you it's expensive to get something like that, but I bet you it can be done. So.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
So I was just saying it was just a chat I came across really, and I was looking at it and I thought that's, people, something like that needs to be out there more for people, because all the mainstream news is guns are bad, right? This, as they're saying, going in, she did say she wanted a firearm for self-defense too, but a lot of people didn't back off of it, but went more on the hobby sports side than they did on the self-defense side. You know what I'm saying? A couple of them said, well, with the your weak shoulders and shit like that, and having trouble holding the gun up, you're better off using a like a 22 that's lightweight or something. You would you might be able to get off a few shots before your arm falls down type thing. Uh, but a couple of them
Yeah.
mentioned doing a 22 pistol would might work for her. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. 22 is modern 22 with decent ammo and kept clean.
Yeah.
I trust mine to work, so I know that's a debatable topic, and we've been over it before. But again, I trust mine, so if
Yeah.
it's my first choice, not necessarily, no, but I I trust it. So, and it's definitely better than just holding your phone up or yelling stop. So, yeah, all for that. So, I think I don't know who they were that were kept pushing for sports side, but I would focus more on the other side as a defense type
Yeah.
situation because you know sports hobbies that's nice, that's great, could be seen as a luxury, but personal defense, especially in today's world, that's
Yeah.
kind of a necessity. You need something there when somebody doesn't take no for no, so
Yeah.
for whatever the situation is.
Yeah. Raphael just put this, he got this from Google. Authorities allege that this 27-year-old, who was a quadruple amputee and professional cornhole cornhole player, don't know how whether he ain't got no arms or legs, shot and killed a front seat passenger during an argument while driving. So there you go. I,
Wow.
I read a story like that actually. It wasn't that long ago. Within the last couple of months, somebody who was totally disabled like that shot somebody. So I mean, there's I guess what my very first boss I ever had, Mr. Savage was his name. He was an asshole. He really was. But where I was going is that what he said to me was, if you want to do something, if there's a will, there's a way. That's what he told me many, many years ago. He was on about working, but I'm just saying, like this, finding a way to shoot a gun. If there's a will, there's a way to do it. You know, that's like most anything in life, though. If there's a will, there's a way. So there we go. Anyway, so that was my little section on shooting with disabilities. And as I said, if anybody here has got anything they want to talk about on that uh, realm, just drop me a line and I can, I'll bring it up next week as a topic or whatever. So, you know, I mean, a good example is if he's still in here, it's Patriot in the Dark. He uses those little tags that, that beep, like if you lost your keys somewhere and you got one of them key flops on it, he puts those on his targets. So he hears it and he shoots at it. That's what Patriot does. If I remember, I think that's how he told me he did it. So there you go. So actually, not that I would like to. I don't know if I could do it, but I would love to have sort of blindfold myself or close my eyes and see how good I am at distinguishing where sound is and shooting at it. I would like,
You
because I
do it.
bet you I bet you it ain't easy.
No, it's not easy.
You
It's
know.
not easy. I did it once for a video with thinking of Patriot. So I didn't have a key fob, so I used an old smoke detector
Yeah.
and basically taped the button down and shot at that, and that took quite a few shots for me to get it. So sad to say, but by sound is that's you know I'm just a sighted guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm sure Patriot would have hit it quicker. He's probably like, "Oh, a smoke alarm? Like that's like a saucer. I would have got that in two tries." Or
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, he's probably out there
Really,
talking shit, but
my skill level, I wouldn't even mess around with those.
but it took me a few shots. The video's out there on my channel, but it's an old one. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, do that because really you should change your smoke alarms anyway after so long. I can't remember what it is now.
yeah.
I think they say 5 years, but
Well,
uh,
my because I rent. My smoke
mhm,
alarms are electric.
okay,
They
okay,
only have a battery. If like the power goes out,
yep,
then it
yep,
has a
yeah. I'm
battery
not
back.
sure if that still applies towards them or not. So I guess it's something to do with I don't know some what radioactive chemical or some shit. I don't know something they got in the damn thing. So I'm not. I don't know, but yeah, they either way, you're supposed to change them out ever so often.
Yeah, I mean,
If yours are
it
wired
does
up, you
warn
don't
us.
have to worry about them. But
I mean, even though they're hot wired or hardwired into the electric
hmm
in the house here, they do. I said that they have a battery backup, but when that battery, I mean, in the 8 years I've been here, I've had to change them twice. I'm bad. I know you're meant to change your batteries every year, but I totally forget about it. And the only reason I remember to change them is when it starts beeping at me. The battery will beep about every minute or so. Once it becomes in a dangerous level, you'll be
yeah,
lay. I mean, normally it happens at the middle of the night. I'll be laying there. I'll hear beep. Then fall back to sleep. Another second, another minute, beep. I think you son of a bitch. You know. Then normally what I go do is rip the battery out for it stop beeping until I can get a battery the following day. It takes 9-volt batteries. Mine do, by the way. So
but yeah,
yeah,
you know, fun little experiment like that for all the sighted folks out there. If you want to go, humor yourself, try the smoke alarm out on the range. So obviously, safe manner, safe as you can. So probably
yeah,
can't do that at a public range. They see you slapping a blindfold on. You're
yeah. Then shooting a
probably looking for
gun.
trouble, but
Yeah,
I was able to do it out in the woods, safe direction, and it was, I didn't have any issues. So
yeah.
obviously, I
Oh,
wouldn't recommend, doing a bunch of 360s or whatever if you're there by yourself, because you might be facing the wrong direction. So,
yeah.
uh, but
Oh, we were looking at a new a lot. Because my buddy was talking because we've always talked about it for years, but we've never bought any Tenorite, right? They do an explosion, but that could get kind of you know painful. But we saw something the other day was I got is like the old clay pigeons, the small ones. They do them now, which it does have an incendiary device in it, but not really an explosion. It's not. What it does is if you hit it, it's sort of like big puff of smoke comes off of it. Instead of a big massive explosion like Tenorite. So and they're cheaper than Tenorite too. So we were thinking of buying some of those to plonk out there in his woods and shoot at them and get big puffs of smoke going out when we hit them. Something different. You know,
yeah, oh, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you haven't done the Tanner right at some point, I suggest, give that a try. But,
Oh well, I
you know,
plan to. I
you
plan
are
to.
just,
Yeah.
kind of burning money, almost literally. But,
Yeah.
it's interesting to try once,
Yeah. Yeah.
at
Yeah.
least. But those
Another
little
thing
disc
I'm going to
things may
do.
be better.
Another thing I'm going to do this year, but I got to get my car payments finished with first. Right? Is I'm going to buy me some of them cheap ass uh, 2-liter soda bottles from the dollar store. They're not a dollar anymore, but you know what I mean. The cheapest ones they sell, and shoot me some soda bottles and watch them explode out there too. You know, and it's out in the woods in his backyard, so it
Yeah.
ain't hurt. I mean, hey, we ain't hurting anybody. So all these, I mean, and hey, and it's feeding the animals with all that sugar.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of sticky stuff out there, but
Yeah,
yeah.
but once it rains, it washes it away. You know, so all we got to do is clean up our mess. You know, the plastic bottles.
Mm-hmm.
So
If you got any expired canned goods that you forgot to rotate, they make a pretty good mess out there too.
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, there's oh, I mean, there's everything. There's, I mean, I we got a bunch of still targets out there. You know, because I supplied a whole bunch when I first moved there because I had a bunch, and they're still hanging up there. And actually, he was out there the other day. He painted them all, for this season shooting. Well, we paint them more than once, but he's painting them all for when we get started shooting more. So, but right now he's into air rifles right now. You know, because he says right now he said it's one of the cheapest things you can buy. Not the rifle itself, but the ammo, the pellets, or whatever. He said it's cheaper than shooting 22s. You know, so that's why he's been shooting lately. He's been shooting them in. He said I can shoot these indoors in the garage here on these cold winter days, and when it's raining, he built himself a little range inside his garage. You know, it's only about
Nice.
10 yards, but it's about 10 yards in his range, and what he's shooting at.
Yeah,
Plus,
but still, that's
yeah,
still fun. I mean, with an air
yeah,
rifle, it's not bad, especially
yeah,
doesn't have anything high end. So
yeah, and that's what he said. And also, he said it still keeps his eye in, for shooting. For when he gets out there and starts shooting the real bullets again. You know, he reckons he'll be a jump ahead of me this year. You know, he'll be hitting his targets. Why I struggle getting back into it. You know, so we'll see. Yeah, we're more likely to start shooting weekly. Now that it's starting to warm up now, we'll at least shoot once or twice a week again, like we used to. I've got my loading equipment behind me here. And I got you can't. I don't know if you no you can't see them. My mess I still haven't cleared up behind me yet, but I think it's one, two, third shelf down. I don't know. I think no, you not going to be a sit. It's behind the trash can. Is that shelf there? I got 3/4 of it is nothing but ammo. Where I got delivered from my ammo place I paid $25
yep,
a month to. That's where all that
yep,
ammo's at. So I've got a good start right here. So and
good.
the only thing the only thing I need, and I don't need them to start with, but I need to go to the gun store and get some primers. Because that's what I was always scrounging for last time. So I figured if I could go and just buy some, sort of like stay ahead of it, you know, I'll be in good shape. So,
Yeah, and having some on hand is always better than needing them when everything spikes. So
yeah, yeah. And I mean, there was a rumor last week or the week before that they reckon there's going to be another ammo shortage.
mhm,
I don't know how true that is. You know, I
no
know
idea.
that, and I think that was brought on because of, you know, oh, Trump's taking us into the next war. You know, that all the ammo will go to the military, which I don't have a problem, to be honest with you. You know, if you want to, I mean, what do you want our army to shoot? They got to have ammo to do it. So there we go. The only thing that could hurt and is that big what's that big ammo place that the government owns, and they give the contract out every year or every couple of years to a different ammo manufacturer. Can't think of the name of the goddamn place now. It's
Yeah.
big. But where the 80% I think of their ammo they make goes to the military, the surplus, the extra 20 or something like that percent goes to the civilian market. But if there's a need for the military to need more ammo, we're not going to get any, basically. But there's more ammo. But what's going to hurt us on an ammo shortage is, was it Remington or Federal or one of those got sold to some Czechoslovakian company? So there's very few big ammo manufacturers that are American now. I mean, we have the
Hopefully, it
boutique.
wasn't Federal.
It might have been Remington and all their offshoot brands they carry.
Yeah, well, I'm fine with that. I don't bother with that. So, never
long as
had the best luck. Their handgun ammo has been great, but as far most of it, they're medium to high end. But that UMC stuff, that stuff is horrible. And the 22, I've had nothing but problems with. But
yeah.
Not a big fan of that. But so I'm not knocking them as a whole or whatever, but if one of them got sold, I'd prefer it was Remington over Federal. So that's just my preference.
Yeah. So anyway, it's almost 8 o'clock, and last week was actually, I didn't realize it till I was driving to go with her car to go take her to work and shit like that. Was last week was first Wednesday of the month, and it was the drawing for the thing, and so I'll do that this week. This week you lose a week, but that's okay. My question last week, or the answer looking for last week, was I wanted the last official date of the last U.S. cavalry versus Indian battle. That's how it's written down there. But if you want to say Native American or indigenous, up to you. Was actually, and I always found this one. I didn't realize it until I found this. I think I used this question a few years ago. But the last official U.S. cavalry and Indian battle was actually January 9th, 1918. Believe it or not. This happened between elements of the 10th U.S. Cavalry. That was the 10th was the colored brigade that they had back in the day, and some Yaka Indians. The Indians mistook them for Mexicans and opened fire on them. So there you go. That was the answer I was looking for. And even though I only had, where was it at? I think I only had 2 entries. I was very disappointed. And so let me do my clicker here to see who the winner of the 2 is. And it is 2 Live Moo is the winner. Let me write that down so I don't forget. So I can make sure I remember to do that one. 2 Live Moo. There we go. All right. So that's that. And for the next one, which will be, let's have a look. Where's my calendar? Here it is. The first Wednesday of the month of May is the 6th of May. Is the first Wednesday. So that will be the drawing that for the next swag pack, the 6th of May. Okay, now this one's really easy. right? I think it is, but I'm looking at the answer. So back to the old Die Hard movies. I want to know in what it's sort of like a 2-3 parter. I want to know what movie did he switch firearms to a different brand? What movie was it that he did that? All right. And I want to know what firearm he used in the original and number 2 and 3 movie. So what firearm did he use in, the first 3 Die Hard movies? I think it was 3 or 4, whatever. But I want to know what movie it was. He changed it. I can't remember. Was it 4, 5, 6? I can't remember which movie it was, but he changed to a totally different brand. And I want to know the name of the movie. So that's the question. Email me at rickslifeasiseeit@gmail.com or spottedrick@gmail.com. Get it into me by the 6th of May, and you're being for the swag pack. So there you go.
That was confusing.
Was it?
You want to know the movie that the switch happened on?
Yes. And what
And
it was.
the gun.
And what brand of firearm did he change
Okay.
to?
Just clarifying for everybody out. All
Yeah.
right.
I
Just
probably
double
gave
check.
you an answer, so you know he changed. All you got to do is figure out what one he used in the first few movies, right? Then he had to change from that to something else.
Oh.
Hey, Google is your friend. That's where I got the answers from. And so when you send your stuff in to me, that's what I'm using for the correct answer. So there you go. So I will repeat it next week, and hopefully I'll explain it easier or more thing. Be honest with you, I had it all ready last week, but when I was doing it, I actually pulled it up while this show was going on because I actually forgot about it. So I didn't have a chance to read it through to word it right. Because normally I'll read them, then I'll think of how I'm going to say it before I actually do. I was what's the word I'm looking for? I was winging it, or as I was going along there. That's why it might have sounded a bit confusing. So there we go. So with that, I'm calling it quits. I'm ending it. I'm going to go do whatever I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do. So I got the dog here asleep on my bed right here in the corner. So see, as I say, when I moved over here, not only did my office move into this other room, it become my office and my bedroom all at the same time. See, mind you, 3/4 of it. Yeah, you're seeing 3/4 of it behind me. The camera just makes it look smaller than what it is, but so there you go. Anyway, that's it. I'm going to call it quits. So anyway, with that, New York Outcast, you got any closing stuff you want to do?
No, just tell everybody thanks for joining us, and eat a salad, stay out of trouble. And we'll catch you next time.
Yeah, actually, talking about that, was it last night? What was last night? Tuesday? Monday night, I was eating salad. I had a big, there was so much of it. I had a bowl. I must have been about that tall, that big around, full of salad. Threw some salt and pepper on it, put some Italian dressing on it, and I chowed down on that. And I had chicken. We had chicken, so we cut it up in small pieces, threw it in there, put it on top. It was good. Yeah, damn, it was good. So There we go. All right. With that, I'm going to say good night, and I will see you all next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. I plan on it every week, but sometimes life happens. So I do apologize. Anyway, with that, I'm going to see you all next week. So with that, I'm going to say good night. So good night, everybody. Good night, Sabrina.